Hej och välkommen till min kanal, det är jag som är Tobbeeleeto och det här är Gabriel's Nights. Nu kör vi!
I bet. Just a minute. It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita? I'm sorry, but Gabriel is allowed. Oh, I mean, he's out. Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Sure. Bye-bye. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah.
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
Sort of.
I told you it's that voodoo book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
So don't sleep. It's your body. Anyway, your handheld tape recorder came today.
Really? Great.
I can't wait to see what human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
How would I ever manage without you?
You? Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps. Like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Today's newspaper is on the counter. Blessed caffeine. The books on the table have been chosen for their special appeal. Recent fiction by the biggies. In other words, nothing written by Gabriel. The chandelier is original. Gabriel finds its charming. All right. He can't afford to replace it.
Okej.
St. George Books could use some serious renovation, but Gabriel likes to think that the place has character. The magnifying glass is a handy item for reading old manuscripts or the fine print on Gabriel's lease. There's a pair of tweezers. on the counter.
Jag kan ta de här då, eller? Hur tar man? Så. Ja, det kan jag. Nice.
I'm going to take the tweezers for a bit.
Good. You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Kan jag ta förstoringsglaset med, eller vad det
Mind if
var?
I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem.
Gabriel cannot see
Det är oerhört irriterande att hon pratar.
cute gargoyle, eh? That shelf
tredje person.
holds used copies of the Dime Strife series, secrets of unsolved ancient UFO mysteries and such. They just leap out the door.
Kan man läsa något kanske?
Gabriel cannot see any way to pick. Gabriel's had all those books in the bathroom and doesn't care to read them again. Gabriel's had all. Gabriel cannot see.
Nej. Vänta. Vad är det här?
Gabriel looks at the cash register, checking for cobweb. The old desk is one Gabriel's picked up near a dumpster. Not too shabby, eh? The desk is too heavy to be moved.
Öppna menar jag.
Gabriel doesn't even want to.
Hopplös.
It's certainly light enough, but rather useless, as Gabriel well knows. It's the Gabriel. It's an ashtray. It's an wishful. Gabriel would love to move his cash register to no. The cash register is silent.
Men
It's the
okej, vi får prata med
Got a
henne.
minute, Grace?
What's up?
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
How come we haven't gone out yet?
I'm still waiting around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well,
Jag
it's
kan
not
verkligen
exactly
ingenting om
a
henne.
huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Works for me. How old are you?
Det frågar man
Old
inte.
enough to know about men like you.
Bra svar.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my
Det
master's
ska
in
man
history
säga.
and classics.
Berätta bara något.
My folks wanted me to go on right away from my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
Just tell me anything
Det
at all.
här är det enda som
I
är
came to New
kvar.
Orleans because I'd read so much about it, and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've always wanted to do something really adventurous, Something real life. I'm sick of libraries and lecture halls.
Just tell me
Hur
anything
många
at
gånger
all.
kan man säga liksom?
My folks are traditional Japanese. I don't even remember Japan myself. I was 3 when we came to the States.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've been studying Tai Chi for 10 years. It's a very spiritual discipline. I'm sure discipline
schysst
of
grafik,
any sort
liksom.
isn't something that would appeal to you, Gabriel.
Just tell me anything at all.
My folks want me to get married to a boy back east. Mark Kobayashi. His parents are traditional Japanese too. I might eventually, but right now...
Just tell me
Hur många gånger
anything.
kan man säga liksom? Kom igen.
My folks want me to get married to a boy back east. Mark Kobayashi. His parents are traditional
du sa det.
Japanese too. I might eventually, but right now...
Okej. Jag gissar på att det
Nothing, I
var
guess. Never
ett tecken
mind.
på att jag ska sluta.
Suit yourself.
Voodoo?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
Okej.
Do you know anything else about voodoo?
I've told you all I know. Sorry I can't be more help.
Japp.
What do you know about the voodoo?
Det är tydligen någon mördare som
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
folk kallar. Precis. Murder. Eller
What
morden
can you
kallas
tell
det.
me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible.
Som sagt, om ni har spelat det här själva så får ni gärna lämna en tumme upp och en kommentar. Och vad ni tycker om
Could you do
spelet.
some research for me?
Sure, what?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Kan du hjälpa mig? Med vad? Jag vet inte.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Awesome.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want them.
Okej.
Do you have more messages for me?
Ja, hon sa just det.
Grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What does she say? Did she sound good?
She
Gud.
sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's
No.
my girl.
But she said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have more messages for me?
Here's a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter? He said he was calling from Germany. He told me it was urgent, maybe you should give him a call.
Call Germany, like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Helt rätt.
Well, fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Do you have more messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosley called. Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humprey.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station, at the front desk.
Okej.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the voodoo murders, would they?
Troligen.
Now, why would you say something like that?
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
That's enough. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank
Okay.
God.
Då avslutar vi där.
It's certainly light enough, but rather useless, as Gabriel well knows. It's certainly light enough.
Men då kan man inte öppna.
Gabriel does. Gabriel leaves through a German-English dictionary.
Let's see, mittag means midday, noon.
Middag.
Gabriel's had all those books in the bathroom and doesn't. Gabriel.
Kom igen. Någon jäkla bok måste det finnas mer.
Gabriel. Gabriel's
Wait
had
till the-
all those books. There is nothing to move there. Gabriel doesn't need the ashtray. The curtain doesn't provide much privacy, but Gabriel's rarely in his...
Okej, det är sovrum.
If
Nu får du gå dit. Jag kan ringa någon. Okej.
a little cold bubbly and brie cheese is about all Gabriel's fridge ever has in it. Bills from last Christmas gather dust on the door. Gabriel's bedroom is also his office, his studio, and library. Gabriel's bedroom...
Okej, du sa det. Det går snabbare att göra så här.
Gabriel...
Öppna. Tack.
Gabriel, shut the refrigerator, please. I could smell it from here.
Känslig då.
Jeans and t-shirts. Jeans and t-shirt. Gabriel's robe hangs on the wall. It's a bit hot for it in June, though. The dresser holds a meager supply of underwear and 38 pairs of mismatched socks.
Känner igen.
Gabriel likes a subdued lighting effect in his studio. Gabriel's bedroom is... Gabriel's bed... There's a flashlight on the dresser. This build...
Den tar vi.
I might need a flashlight.
Klart du måste.
Gabriel might as well leave that here.
You've old...
Gabriel might as well leave that here. Gabriel might as well leave that here. Gabriel might as well...
Skit i då.
A poster on the wall advertises Mardi Gras, the biggest party of the year in New Orleans. A small trunk serves as a table for the radio. Gabriel's mini stereo isn't exactly high fidelity. Then again, neither is he.
Neither is he.
Gabriel might as well leave that here.
If I threw that stuff away, it weren't worth reading.
That's what I say.
Gabriel's desk has been gathering dust since his last novel. Gabriel's reference books occupy a space near his typewriter. Several dozen books, including a few of Gabriel's novels, occupy the shelves above his desk. The typewriter is beginning to accumulate cobwebs.
Should I feel guilty? Nah.
Okay.
Gabriel minded the typewriter is too heavy to lug.
Men hur... Ah, okej. Yes, skriver.
Writer's block.
Nej, skit i det.
The medicine cabinet contains a few old prescriptions, personal hygiene stuff, and lots of hair products, including some hair gel.
Kan vi ta något? Hårgelén?
I'll take this hair gel. You never know when you'll need a touch-up.
There's nothing else Gabriel needs from the medicine cabinet.
Okej.
Gabriel might as well leave that here.
Det var väldigt tydligt att det var massor saker och hårgelé.
Gabriel doesn't even want to know what Grace keeps in those drawers. Gabriel opens the cash register to examine the take. Or, in the case of St. George Books, the mistake.
Haha.
It's a gift certificate left over from yet another dismal failure of a promotion. The cash register contains about $20 in small bills and change. The cash...
Vi tar något.
Gabriel, that's all the change money I have. Touch it, and you can kiss your hand goodbye.
Would I do that to you?
Gabriel, that's all.
Would I do that to you? I trust you can live without this old gift certificate.
Knock yourself out.
Gabriel cannot. St. George Books could use some serious renovation, but Gabriel likes to think that the place has character. Dramatic, isn't it? Gabriel didn't eat for 3 weeks after splurging on that coat. He has a thing for black leather.
Okej, kan man gå härifrån?
It's a bit warm in here. Gabriel decides to wait until he leaves to put on his coat. Gabriel cannot take the...
Vi kan inte bara få öppna dörr. Tack.
I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store.
Jag har
while
ingen
I'm
aning om
gone.
vart jag ska i och för sig.
Have fun.
Där är jag. Det är den där som hon hade tipsat om. Museumet. Katedral. Någon square torg. Napoleon. Polisen. French Quarter. Ja, det är där ja. Ja, det är okej. Det är hela Grandma. Jag skulle i och för sig träffa henne. Det är väl de här två jag ska besöka sen antar jag. Kolla kod.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Jag också.
Sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now come and sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Det är lugnt.
On the wall are portraits of Gran and Gramps when they were young. Gabriel's inherited some good-looking genes. Mostly pictures of Gabriel, his dad, and Harrison Knight. The
Harrison
wood
Knight.
in the bin is Southern pine, and is probably fossilized by now. Granny's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. The sofa has a wan blue chintz pattern that Gabriel remembers fondly.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
Sant.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Hon vet allt.
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
Tell
Good
me
for
about
you.
yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
Stickar.
You know how I love to knit and work
Yep.
in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back
Okej,
then.
fick vi svar på det?
A big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come
Det
to
var
me to
farfar.
find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma. And at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone annex, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just
Oh,
tell
nej.
me anything at all.
Nu ska han börja igen.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
Here we go.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22.
Okej.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Tell me
nej,
about
nej.
our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Ja, precis.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something
yeah.
about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Okej.
Tell me about my father.
Farsan.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were two peas
Det är
in a
ju
pod.
flera som gör det.
Tell
I
me
familjen.
about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then. And he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8.
Okej.
It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school. Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the three of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two. But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my father.
I don't know what else to...
Okej.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb?
Okej.
It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Då ska vi dit nästa då.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Fjäsk.
Oh, you.
Nej. Det är rätt.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some, and I'll whip up half a dozen.
You've lost weight. Are you courting a new man?
Oh, Gabriel, don't be silly. You know there'll never be anyone but your granddad for me.
Your hair looks very pretty today, Gran.
Well, why, thank you, dear. So does, you've always had such nice, thick hair, Gabriel.
You know, I always tell people that my Gran is the prettiest grand old belle in the city.
Oh, dear. You shouldn't talk so.
Ah, ja. Är det något vi kan ta här då?
Gabriel doesn't want to take any of Granny's things. Steal Granny's knitting? How low can you get? The magazine bin contains nothing that interests Gabriel.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
Det är farligt. Smutsigt. Smuts och damm.
Grandma's attic is a storehouse of forgotten treasures and useless junk. That box of knickknacks has been up there for at least 5 years. An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic. It doesn't seem to be running at the moment. These old picture frames have been up here for years.
De ska alltså få igång klockan. Det var ju ganska uppenbart att...
I think I'll take Daddy's sketchbook with me. There's nothing I want in there. It looks pretty heavy.
Gabriel doesn't want to take the clock.
Öppna.
I don't think there's anything in that trunk that would interest anybody but my Gran.
The trunk contains some old clothes, including a pair of leather shorts,
Aren't those called lederhosen?
Ooh.
serious hiking boots, more of Harrison Knight German book.
Just what I need.
And a bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca.
I don't think there's anything in...
Gabriel doesn't want to take the clock.
Men hur...
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Gabriel, the ring of symbols does not appear to have any mechanical function, but it does move. Gabriel doesn't want to take the... Gabriel doesn't want to take the clock. A ring of 6 symbols surround the
svärd,
face of the
sol,
clock.
ängel,
A sword, a sun,
nos, eclips
an
och en drake.
angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon.
Okej.
Gabriel can up. The ring of symbols does not appear to have any mechanical.
Kan ju röra sig nu. Oh my god, jag måste testa. Oh shit.
Nothing happened. Nothing.
Vadå? Det ska... Okej, jag känner att jag inte gör det just nu. Tack så jättemycket för att ni tittar. Glöm inte att prenumerera på kanalen och lämna en tumme upp om ni gillade innehållet i klippet. Jag tycker att det här spelet verkar riktigt grymt. Det är ju Sierra trots allt och det måste man ju gilla. Jag är riktigt nyfiken på hur spelet kommer fortsätta, så jag kommer nog att spela lite till faktiskt på det här. Och glöm inte att lämna en kommentar om ni har spelat spelet själva eller en kommentar om vad ni tycker om det, så hörs vi snart igen. Ha det bra, hej då!